Welcome to Friends Like Us. I'm Marina Franklin here with you. Yeah. I have a red eye. For you, it's probably on my left. No, my right. No, my left. Hello, everyone. Grabbing the chat early. Today is a wonderful morning. I have a red eye. I don't have pink eye. I have busted a vein. I've busted my eye. I busted something in my eye. So that's why I look kind of like, arr, 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 arr. I wish I had a patch, but what are you going to do? Yep. But welcome to Friends Like Us, the live stream. No, it's not an injury. I just apparently was angry one day, or maybe I was lifting weights and I don't know. Who knows? I called my eye doctor. He said it's nothing. I don't know. You can see me right now. Does it look like nothing? That's what he said. He said it's nothing. And he told me to continue using my drops, my eye drops, because I also have glaucoma. Yes, I have all that old shit. Sorry to start early with the curse words, but this is true. What am I looking for? I'm looking for something to clean my glass lens. But you see, you guys like my eyes now, huh? How's those beautiful eyes now? Anyway, it's not painful. It just feels like a little tired. That's it. But it's not painful, just so you know. Just want you to know I have to address it. I had to go on stage last night like this, and I asked the audience, I go, "Can you see this?" They were like, "Yeah." This guy way in the back was like, "Yeah, we could see it. Thanks for addressing it." I was like, "Well, that's what my job is to address imperfections, because that is why I'm a comedian. If I wasn't a comedian, if I was just an actress, I'd be sad, because I would always have to be perfect." But, I'm looking at the highlights of the news today. Sad stuff, boy. Yeah, the news is hard to look at right now. But anyway, yeah, my eye has nothing on the news. Nothing. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about today? Today we have Sujay joining us again. He's replacing Evelyn Frick, who is out enjoying her summer. Unlike the rest of us, the rest of us have to work hard because recession is on path. Recession. I don't know about you, but everyone's been going on vacation. I don't know with what money. Because from what I understood, there was inflation. People were broke. Eggs were $16.25, but people are everywhere. They're traveling everywhere, and they're getting around the town. If you are just joining me for the first time, I do this every Saturday, unless I'm on the road. I do this with my assistant. She is my assistant to my comedy career. Her name is Evelyn Frick. She's also a human being. And she is on the show as well as Dave Juskow. But today, in replace of her, we have Sujay. Sujay is coming on. Sujay has been a wonderful replacement, willing to step in on this really nice day in New York City, which we have not had in some time. It's been Sujay. Sujay. I said Sujay. Sujay. They say Sujay when you join. Is Sujay or Sujay? Sujay. Yes. Okay. I had it right the first time. He's in the green room. I can see you. I don't have pink eye, Sujay. I have a busted vessel in my eye. But, I'm all good. The doctor said it's nothing. So we don't know if that's true. So we may be firing him soon. I like him, but I do have early onset glaucoma, which means that I have to use eye drops morning and night to keep eye blood pressure down. And apparently this week, I don't know what I did. I had these new drops called Rocklatan They're very expensive drops. Even with insurance, it's $50 a pop. And I don't mind dropping it because it's caused my eye to be red. And then this week, I don't know, surprisingly, my eye, there's so you could kind of see it over here. You kind of see it. And it looks painful if I was to really show you. See that? It looks painful, but it's not painful. And my trainer told me, he goes, "Were you lifting this week?" And I really wanted to say yes. I really wanted to say yes. I really wanted to say, yeah, I was, doing squats and, some whatever rows. But I mean, I do lift. You could kind of see, but not like I used to. I used to work out with my other trainer, Terry. Oh, TB, does it look painful? Yeah, it's not painful. It just feels like, the eye is very resilient. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys something. It's horror story. So if you're squeamish, you may want to close your ears on this. But I was telling the story to someone last night, and they were giving me another doctor, a second opinion that I need to go to because the doctor said it's nothing. I showed him what you're seeing, and he was like, that's actually what he said. Keep using the drops. And I was like, but I just told you that the drops make my eyes red. Like this, it didn't cause this, but it does make my eyes red. So I'm not sure if I should. I stopped taking it. I said, I'm going to stop taking it. I use my drops morning and night, the ones that I regularly use that didn't do this. And I'm going back to the old, what I was doing. But I told the story to someone last night and they were like, oh, use my doctor because my sister just accidentally walked into a tree branch and it went right through her eye. I was like, get out of here. That's painful. Thank you very much. And she's fine. So let's see. I just had let's see what you guys are talking about. It's okay. We don't judge you. Oh, Tamara, you've had this a few times? Really? And how did you get rid of it? Do you have any advice? Like I put a cold compress, stared someone down too strongly. Maybe I did get really upset the other day, but that's a long story. Good almost noon from Oregon. Oh, okay. Oregon. I have a cousin out there. We were talking this morning. He's talking about the homeless situation there. It's really getting to him. And he's from Chicago. How is that in Oregon? Just had my exam, and so far my diabetes isn't messing with my eyes, but getting new glasses. I used to do an old joke about my grandma and diabetes and how I would ask her about, because she loved all the attention. So I would say, how's grandpa doing? She goes, my diabetes is messing up. And I go, no, grandpa, how's he doing? Oh, he just took a shit in the backyard, but he's okay. She was referring to the dog. Anyway, she wanted all the attention. Grandma Moot. Howdy, TB, Tamara, Mike, Dick. Hello, Stace. Hello to you. Hello. All right. Let's see. Pink waving. Yeah, I got eye problems. Good day, Eric Prince. Eric, we got to get you on here at some point. I was thinking about this morning. I feel bad. We ain't had you on. When you gonna come on? Maybe you all set up for your DJ and stuff. The pandemic has really made the homeless worse. The cities in Portland, especially Portland and Eugene, don't seem to be able to make up their minds how to deal with it long term. Yeah, they even say that in San Francisco. It's never going to go back. That can't be possible. There's so much life in the world. This was a hot summer. This was a weird summer, right? It's like heat. Today was the first weekend where you were told like, hey, it looks nice, but stay your ass inside. It was the first weekend in New York City where they were like, it is actually a good weekend. It was the first one of the summer. So anyway, I'm going to bring Sujay on. You guys, hello, Mr. Noise. Welcome back. It's been a while. How you doing? So if you're just joining us now, it's Marina Franklin. I do this every Saturday unless I'm on the road. This is my YouTube channel. This is the best way to see it on my YouTube channel. You've probably seen this also on Facebook, also on Twitch. But the best way to see it is my YouTube channel. Please, also, something new. Hit the like button, okay? If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, please. And I would like to bring on my next guest. He hails from down the street, kind of, and he's a wonderful human being. He's been on here. He's replacing Evelyn. Well, he can't, no one can replace Evelyn, but he's filling in and he's just excellent. He does a good job. You guys, well, first, let me give myself an applause. And now I'm bringing on Sujay.
All right. Hello. All right. How are you?
Let me give you some applause.
Oh, thank you.
I'm being silly today.
Oh, it's nice to see you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm sorry to hear about your eye, actually. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Have you heard of Brooder's eye patches, eye mask? So it's something I've used in the past. If you have dry eyes, you can buy it online, you put it in the microwave for 10 seconds, and it's moist heat therapy. So it actually opens up the glands in the eyes and really lubricates the eye. So it's completely medicine free. It's just heat and moist therapy. So,
But what if you don't have a microwave?
if you don't have a microwave, I'm sure there's another way to heat it up. But yeah.
Okay. What's it again?
Brooder, Bruder, Brooder's.
Brooder.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me get that.
My ophthalmologist gave it to me because I started getting really bad dry eyes during the pandemic with all the screen time.
You have a good ophthalmologist. Mine doesn't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, you good. You know what? I was telling someone this story last night, and they were like, the problem is it doesn't sound like he's actually listening to you.
Yes, exactly.
Because I sent an email,
Mhm.
and it was very specific about, it's not so much how does this look, it's also that I just said the new drops you gave me have been irritating my eyes and making it red. And
Right.
his response was, keep using the drops. That's it.
So yeah. It could be a adjustment period with the new drops. But yeah, Stace said if you don't have a microwave, you can also put a sealed plastic bag in a Ziploc in a hot water. So you could do that with the Brooder's eye match. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm getting that. Because I can't go on no dates like this.
Just wear an eye patch, just say it's like the new hip trendy. It's like, you don't know about this? This is how everyone in Brooklyn is doing this.
I would love to become the pirate comedian.
Just switch it out, so it's like one day it's on your right eye, some days it's on your left.
Yeah, Mike, did he take a good look? No, he did not. I sent a picture. I emailed him the picture, and the picture was pretty brutal.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know. And so someone was like, you need a second opinion. And I was like, I know. I was like, you know what it is? Second opinions means that I have to schedule with someone else. And if you've been, anyone who knows like me, I've been, breast cancer survivor. So going to the hospital can be somewhat traumatic. It can bring you back to all of those feelings. And it's just, you have to do it, but it's a pain.
I know. I completely understand. I had when I had that minor surgery, I saw 5 different surgeons until I found someone I was comfortable with, and I'm glad I did that, because if we're not advocating for our health, especially people of color, it's really important to find a provider who's going to listen to you. 5 different surgeons. Yeah.
How long did that take?
So it didn't take that long, over a span of a couple of months. But I had certain criteria. Like, it had to be someone that was listening to me, that was able to explain things in clear English, that was accessible. Like, there were certain very basic parameters, and I have doctors in my family. So, the bar is high when I go see a surgeon,
Say word.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you ever tell them I have doctors in my family, so watch yourself, watch your mouth?
Yeah, I mean, and I have a doctorate too. It's just not in medicine, so I will actually say, yeah, I'm coming up with some education on this. So
that's right. I see Dave Juskow is in the back
Mhm.
doing his best facial expression of listening.
Yeah.
I can see what mood you in. You better cheer it up or I ain't bringing you on. Change your attitude. I see you. Okay, good. A laugh. So I have an eye problem, Juskow, when you join, just so you know. It's my eye, my right eye, my left eye. I mean, but to you it's my right, I think. Because I don't mirror this thing right. Who's saying facts? What does Eric Prince put it in the toaster oven? What toaster oven? What are you talking about? That would cause a fire.
Yeah, you don't want to put it in a toaster.
Boogie down in the Bronx. What up, hectic? So, what else have you been doing? Isn't this a lovely weekend?
It's a beautiful I was just laughing about how I was actually listening to your podcast earlier because I catch up on podcasts on the weekend, and it was like I know it's talking about how Studio Museum of Harlem doesn't advertise in the same way. It's Brooklyn Museum, and I was on the subway listening, and right in front of me was an ad for the Brooklyn Museum. So I was like, oh, there it is, exactly what your guest was saying.
I'm so glad I re-aired that episode. Yeah. Did you not listen to it the first time?
I can't remember if I had the first time, but I'm glad I re-listened to it because I send my students to museums. And so I try to diversify the museums I send them to, not always the MoMA or the Met. So I've taken them to the Schomburg in the past, and it's really fun, taking 20 white kids into Harlem and like setting them loose in the Schomburg. So, but it's important,
Setting them loose is exactly what that is.
Right.
Oh, you just reminded me of what we can talk about today too, because and I'm glad you did that because Harlem is not scary. Dave Juskow, as he leaves, it's like he left. I could see him in the green room. It's like can you see him?
Yeah, I can't see him.
He like got up just as I mentioned Harlem.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know, but I'm so glad. What do you think about before I get to the slavery thing and the fact that they thought we learned really great skills during slavery? I mean, the skills that we learned was running. I mean, we're really fast. We're really athletic. But it's so sad that Kamala had to this was the first time seeing her speak that I was like, okay, you're connected to your voice. Because I've seen her speak before and I'm like, as a performer, you can tell when someone's they're delivering words.
Right, exactly.
And you could tell when someone's very connected to what they're saying. She was pissed.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's just, oh my gosh. But, I'm just really glad you re-aired that episode. I think it was really spot on, especially in the summertime because people are looking for places to go. So,
Museum Hugh,
exactly. Yeah. That guest she's worked on in a lot of prestigious organizations and museums too. So it was interesting.
Yes, she has. Yeah, she's smart, and she also does research on, I believe, mapping out where these museums are. I can't remember. It's been a while since I listened to it, but it's kind of like the Green Book.
Yes.
For museums.
Exactly, for museums. Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's important that we have, just like we tell our own stories, it's also important that we also, in the museums, it's also like telling our own stories. I mean, like they have I believe the hip hop exhibit is going on at a museum in Brooklyn right now. Am I correct? I don't have the information.
Yes, absolutely. And also Jay-Z, the Brooklyn Public Library, they've put all of his lyrics outside, the building. Yeah.
Of course, don't tell Christina Greer because Professor Greer got a problem with Jay-Z.
Right.
Because she's the only one who has said it, and it's gonna emerge.
Yeah.
The fact that he hasn't employed people in his own neighborhood. I mean, we could celebrate lyrics all day, but transparency is key. When you got money and you open up something and you don't employ people, you're kind of like Walmart.
That's right.
Or Amazon.
Yeah, or both. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Jay-Z, maybe he doesn't know.
I doubt that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, TV wants Kamala Harris as president one day. What do you think of that?
What do I think of that? I think she
Sorry, Sujay. You were like, oh,
I know. No, I think she has a complicated record around arresting, especially brown and black people for marijuana usage in California, and I think that is something that is not going to be wiped away anytime soon, and it's going to pose a challenge for her. And also, I don't get the charisma that from her that I get from like a Michelle Obama or someone else who's kind of operated in that political light in some shape or form. So
yes. Yeah, you're right. I think there's some trust issues that even like people of color have with her.
yep,
Big
exactly.
time.
Right.
Black men specifically.
Yep.
They have their memory is long on that one.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, someone said that Kamala's record on marijuana, that's not true.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Sujay, you were like, oh, okay.
No, I'm pretty sure that there's quite a lot of documented when she was attorney general, right, in San Francisco in California, right, and how she had been prosecuting um, marijuana, usage and crimes because it was criminal activity, right, at that time.
Yeah, so you got some data to say it's not true? You
Yeah.
know, I have noticed this lately, like when I talk to people from the other side of
Mm,
the political map,
right,
that they don't have they want to engage in conversation, but
right,
when the conversation isn't based in like truths,
yeah,
they have this bullet point of
right,
like things they've heard from I think Fox News
yeah,
or
right.
but they don't.
That's right.
I just don't engage usually.
Yeah, that's my
Here
that's
I
my
will. I'll engage, but like normally like
right.
I just go, mhm.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think a
Mhm.
lot of social media breeds that type of energy, like, they want that kind of impassioned or sometimes even angry debate, since this is, like, a place where people feel comfortable to do that since they're not visible, right? So but yeah, I say, feel free to share resources, help me learn from you if you have alternative data.
Some of her questioning, Mike Dickatou says, in the Senate was impressive. She can go right at the BS.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
she's incredibly smart. I mean, that's clear, right? I think it's more in terms of how communities of color view her. So
Watching from South Africa.
nice. Yeah.
What's up? That was so on South Africa. What up? Okay, so let's bring on the man, the myth, definitely not the legend. Welcome everybody, David Juskow.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Woo! Why is your
Everybody can hear me? No?
Mhm.
Why do we go through this every week? You're supposed to be professional.
Well, apparently this little mic thing.
Ooh, watch yourself. Don't talk about yourself like that.
Listen, I'm surprised that you say slaves didn't learn anything. I mean, what about toting that barge, lifting that bale? Get a little drunk and you land in jail.
What are you?
I get weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living and scared of dying.
That means
You guys
stop.
aren't familiar with Showboat? I've been
We
singing
are,
that
but
since I was a little boy, which is hilarious because I didn't know what it meant.
something's wrong with that mic. Yeah, you said you had a little mic. I wouldn't talk about yourself like that. Okay. But listen,
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
nice to see you, Sujay.
Yeah, nice to see you. How was your show last week?
Oh, what's the difference? We all
I
do
could tell it
shows.
wasn't good. You know how
Oh
I could tell?
no.
I'm gonna tell you. I felt it all the way through the week. I was like, if I haven't heard from Juskow,
No. Friday was excellent and really
Okay.
great, and then Saturday was different.
different.
But it wasn't. I always blame myself. I know when I am bad, but there was something different just about the audience. Like my sister was there. She goes, "Oh, it was really great," and I've heard from a couple people like it was great, but they just weren't there on Friday. You know, Marina, what I'm talking about? Like it's just a different crowd. You know, Rachel would tell you the same thing. I don't think it was anything I did, and normally I do blame myself. The problem I had individually was that on Friday I was able to do my full time and everything, and I even left out a few things. And then on Saturday, I blew through my material.
When you're bombing, that's what happens.
Oh, is that the thing? Yeah,
yes.
I guess so. Yeah,
yes, it's faster than you could ever believe when you're bombing.
So then I was like, uh-oh, and I think I got off early, but that was the only thing.
It's faster, and it's also like you get dry mouth, and sometimes you start blaming things that don't exist, like, hey, the volume on this microphone is it right? Like stuff like that. Like, is this on? Type,
I wouldn't blame it. You know what? I mean, really, if again, I would never blame the audience, but you know, it's down the shore, and if anybody was like Rachel and her family on Saturday, they were all out at the beach all day. The show's not till 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, the worst.
And, you know, it's just and it's everybody over 40.
Oh,
and you know, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be a little bit more mellow if I'm at the beach all day, which is why I didn't go to the beach that afternoon, even though Rachel wanted me to hang out with her and her family. I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea if I'm doing a show.
No, the worst. I learned that the hard way one time years ago, opening for Tony Woods, and I was in the sun, and I was just like, that night I was so tired on stage. My energy was so low. There was nothing I could do to get it out of me.
Yeah. I was just reading about this. Is something about the immune system goes into overdrive because when you're sitting in, that's what makes you tired, actually. Like it's like that the exposure of the UV from the sun activates your immune response. And
makes sense to me. Yeah. I you know, I'm not, that's why the only time I usually go to the beach, my friend has a cabana. And that's why I will go, because I basically stay in the cabana the entire day until maybe I'll go in the water and then sit outside for 20 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I don't understand how people go to the beach for the day if they don't have a place to get shelter.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You know what's, well, that's called the unhoused, right? But then like, I saw a story about a woman who got bitten by a shark recently, and she was like, "That's okay. I can't wait to get back in there." I mean, I don't know, but like that's the last thing it was on New York One, and she was like, something is going on in America where we don't accept sometimes that caution is a good thing. Like being aware and careful is not a bad thing. Sharks,
exactly,
don't have rationale. Like that's the same woman I bit last week. I'm gonna stay away from her. You know,
maybe they
do. She didn't taste right. You know, but the shark, she was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get back out there. It's all good." And I'm like, that's positivity on a stupid level, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can use that line when you put that eye patch on your eye and say, I'm going to go back into the water.
There's been so many shark attacks over the past 10 years. You know, what's going on? They're coming closer.
10 years. It's crazy.
They're running out of food somewhere else.
And apparently whales are now attacking ships as well. Orcas.
That should have happened a long time ago. They had it coming.
Orcas, they're attacking because they don't like the humans.
Right.
Yeah, they finally figured it out. They saw Star Trek 4.
It is. I'm terrified of being on a boat. I have like nightmares of being on a boat and like a whale just coming from up under the boat and caps, you know. Whoa.
That's very Jonah and whale.
That's what made Jaws so good, because the shark was under the boat at one point, and that suspenseful and good movie making, terrifying. Just like you're saying, when that shark was under they're like, where is it? There's nothing more terrifying.
But what was also terrifying was that guy, that alcoholic guy who they said was drunk on the set in real time.
What's his name? Robert Shaw.
Yeah, and he was like telling that story about how he survived and all these men were being eaten in the water, and then you're like, oh my god.
Well, all you need to see about that guy being a real life drunk is how he looked only 10 years before that in From Russia with Love, where he was kind of an Adonis. 10 years later, that was no makeup on Jaws. I mean, when you age 30 years in 10, you're obviously drinking to extinction, which I think happened to him. He died soon after that.
Oh, after Jaws?
Yeah.
How soon? Like, was it like?
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
Speaking of people who've passed away, we lost a really great one.
Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett. Yes.
Yeah.
Sujay, did you like Tony Bennett? I mean, I was never a Tony.
Yeah, he died in 78. That's 3 years after Jaws.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I knew of his work, but I never really listened to him regularly. But we also lost a really important Black woman who's a meteorologist for CBS2. She was the meteorologist for 16 years, and she died at 51 last weekend, very suddenly.
Really?
There's even a public wake for her. That's how, known she was.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really watch CBS News that much, so I didn't. And also the producer of The View.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, like
Who's
the
that?
one who, well, he was Barbara Walters' like right-hand man. And I remember when he stopped doing The View and then someone else took over, and I was like, oh, that's weird, because he was like kind of the guy who really designed The View and directed it, and he just passed.
Oh, it's not Gelman. That was
name.
Regis and Kathy.
That
It
was
was
Regis,
was it Gelman? But it was somebody that Barbara Walters would say his name all the time when it first started.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just knew him from his face. And when I was watching, they were talking about Tony Bennett, and then on ABC News, it was like they were like, and we have a member of our family who passed. And what was odd was then they go, but let's go back to Tony Bennett because that's more important.
That's horrible.
I was like, oh,
yeah.
Like, even in your death, they're like, this is the most important death.
Right.
Like, that's what I used to hate about the Oscars is like they would do the memoriam and then you would hear like, is that what it's called? The memoriam? I say
memoriam.
Okay.
In memoriam,
in memoriam. And then you would hear the applause for some people was just like, woo! And then other people is silent.
Yeah, I hate that they don't let you applaud for who you want to applaud for anymore. Yeah. Okay, so yes, they're going to applaud big for Tony Bennett, but they're not going to applaud for the technician who worked on Jaws.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. Elise Finch. That's right. That was the meteorologist.
Thank you, Hector.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you can really see my red eye when I do this. Look at that.
I can't. Oh, you're right. Do you have the same thing that I had at the Comedy Cellar Christmas party? Remember when my eye was all messed up?
I did not see that.
Is it your lid or your actual eye?
It's my eye.
Oh.
You don't realize the importance of the whites of your eyes until it's messed up. I've never had this. I've never had anything mess with the whites of my eyes before.
Broke a blood vessel.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I've done that multiple times. In fact, remember at my old job, the story, the HR lady tried to kill me at the office Christmas party. She broke a blood vessel in my eye.
Can you, we really need to tell them this, why she tried to strangle you at the Christmas party. Can you talk about it or legal? No. It is your fault. She used to bring her, she was overweight.
No, she wasn't. No, there's two different. I used to bring another overweight person. Yeah, I hate.
There's a woman who was overweight. She was trying
an asshole.
And Juskow would bring her cupcakes.
No, I bring her Twinkies. I bring her a box of Twinkies. I'm like, here you go. I fucking hated her, and you would too. She was a racist, sexist, horrible pig who one time came in and said somebody should shoot Obama. She was an awful, awful person. So I used to make fun of her weight because she deserved it. She was disgusting.
Well, now you never said that before. Yeah, she deserved
I never
those
told you
Twinkies.
that part exactly.
Everyone's racist deserves a good Twinkie.
It was worse than racist. She's just like
she was really just a nasty human being.
Nasty person.
But who's the other woman?
Loved Trump. Like she used to wear the hat all the time, and at work. Wow. Which made it really uncomfortable. And they were afraid to tell her anything because she was fat. So, they get special privileges. She never came to work when it rained. She'd never. I don't think somebody needed to bust her hymen. I don't think she had ever had her period or something, or she never. There was something weird about her. She would always come out of the bathroom like, "Woo," because I used to work near the women's room, and it was just disgusting. Right? Exactly. Heck, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This woman was awful, and she still works there because they can't fire her because she's fat.
Well, she doesn't move well, or
Yeah,
it
she
would take
doesn't
too
move, she doesn't
long.
do anything. She can barely walk.
I mean, they have a case against her if she's like doing all that.
Nah, they're terrified about that. That's why they're terrified about stuff like that.
Oh gosh.
So the other woman who strangled you at the Christmas party, who was that? What was
she was
that?
the HR. She was in charge of HR. And I will just say, because we were talking about it this week with Rachel, I'll just say that the first day she came in, she goes, you're not going to get away with a lot. I've been looking at your file, and you're not going to get away with the kind of stuff you've been getting away with now that I'm here. And I go, wow, I've been here 10 years and I've been through 6 of you. So I guess we'll see how this ends. And boy, it was on. It was like Bugs Bunny. Like, of course, this means war. She kept poking me. So, so I just was kind of fucking with her, I guess. I mean, just like I'd be in the elevator and be like, I mean, she was really pretty, so I did keep hitting on her. But I'm like, hey, you live on the Upper West Side, right? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to come by your house this week. I'm going to ride my bike around your house. You come outside, we'll have a conversation. I mean, it's the stupidest thing anyone could ever say. And she went to tell, like, the secretaries, and they're like, oh, he threatens to come by all of our houses. What's the matter with you? Like, he doesn't even have a bike. And then it just got worse and worse, and she kept seeing me get away with things all the time because it was a boys' club. The managing partner loved me. The receptionist we handcuffed ourselves together once, and the managing partner found out, and he's like, what's going on here? I'm like, does this answer your question? Because we were handcuffed, and he goes, where's the key? And I'm like, I swallowed the key. And he's like, stop it, get the key right now, I swear to God. So he's really pissed. So then I have to go to HR, and she goes, oh, I got you now, motherfucker. Now Andy is pissed, and I swear to God, he's really angry, and you're in big trouble. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean anything. I got the key right away, and I really felt bad. It turns out the other guy partners told me, like, oh my God, Andy thought that was the funniest thing ever. He told us all at the meeting. He told us all at the partners meeting. He thought it was the greatest. And so when she heard that, that's the day she flipped,
because you're getting away with it.
I was getting away with it. It was worse than that. She had to do my review. She goes, you're getting a raise and a bonus. Oh, fuck you. Like, you just see her face. And then I remember going
There's
out.
Your fucking scone.
And I said, all right, that's all good, but I think we should talk about Taco Tuesdays. And she's like, if you're not taking this serious. And then I went outside, and all the partners were around. They're like, hey, how was your review? And I'm like, it was good, but they're not taking my Taco Tuesday serious. And I was kidding, and everybody thought I was really funny. And then the managing partner comes over. What's going on here? And again, she was right there. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what we're doing for Taco Tuesdays, and I can't get a straight answer over here. And he thought he's like, now, David, how would this Taco Tuesday work? Would it be, like he thought he was going to get angry. And that was the day. The next day was the Christmas party, and she just got drunk and flipped and started whispering in my ear, you motherfucker, you think you're so fucking great. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. There's the head of HR. She goes, I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, geez, I don't understand. I'm sorry. Maybe we could do some, I could take you to the comedy show. We could have a good time. I'm still hitting on her because she's really pretty. And she's like, no, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck you up. I'm like, would you like to dance? No, fuck you. Like, and she's whispering this. Nobody hears it. Except, thank God, a paralegal that was sitting next to me, because nobody would ever believe me.
Oh my God.
So thank God she heard it. Then we go to another bar after, and that's where she chokes me. I'm like, can I buy you ladies a drink? And she's like, fuck you. Then she just lost it. Started strangling me. Like, I kept my arms down the entire time, and she knew martial arts. So she knew, I guess, where to pressure point me, and I broke a blood vessel in my eye.
That's hilarious. She took martial arts.
Yeah.
Because
she was
she
really
hated
tiny
Juskow.
too. Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to use this on this mother. I'm going to get him someday.
And then she was looking for a drink to like throw in my face. And my friend Caitlin's like, stop. And then she goes, you're a 50-year-old loser. You're a loser. And I'm like, well, I'm actually not 50 yet. Like, whatever the fuck you are. And then she ran out and was never seen again. Yeah, it was really.
And you burst your eye?
Yeah, I had a blood, just like you. I had a blood vessel. She burst a blood vessel in my fucking eye. And they weren't even going to fire her. They're like, do you think we should fire her? And I'm like, I don't.
Oh
Yes.
Did they?
Yeah, finally they did. But they asked me first. And then it got even worse. They're like, listen, she has your address and we don't know what she's capable of. And I'm like, what?
Oh my
What
God.
kind of place is this? What are you kidding? So for a while I was a little scared, but even though I was turned on that she was going to come and kill me, it was very confusing.
Oh,
Yes, and then everybody's like, you got to tell HR. And I'm like, you are missing the point of the story. And who do you go to when it is HR? And they called everybody in to say, like, did you hear? So fortunately, that paralegal heard the thing. Fortunately, one of the partners saw her choke me, because who the fuck would believe that story? If there were no witnesses, nobody's going to believe Dave Juskow. Like,
no,
I'm telling you. And then they're like, what did you say to her? And I'm like, and they're like, stop it, David.
Yeah, no one would have believed you.
What did I say?
So how did you? Go ahead.
No, so could you have pacified her with Twinkies?
No, she wasn't. No. She wasn't fat.
I know, but like, would it have worked on her?
I don't know. I remember she put together the summer outing, and she bought this guy, and we were really hitting it off, and she got so angry she pulled him away from me, like a guy. She pulled a guy away from me, so he wouldn't talk to me.
I'm telling you what it is about Juskow. Quite honestly, and I've told you this before, is when Juskow is having a really good time, it annoys people for some reason. It makes them furious.
It
because
does. It's
when
really
he's happy and he's just laughing, some people want to hurt him. They want to hurt him.
Right. I never noticed it until she mentioned it.
They hate his happy face.
That's so interesting, because in person, like, your energy's so chill and like relaxed.
Some people don't get it.
But Juskow, you do things now.
No, I get it. I know, but some people just get really angry when I'm happy and in a good
because like
mood.
Lois that day, she locked in on you like a pit bull. I have never seen her like that. And when she was driving and she kept looking in the rearview mirror, I thought she was going to drive off the road and beat the shit out of you that day.
Times. That's why she.
She did. She did actually kind of. And she was
and
like,
that's why your sister and I had such a good time, because
see, and then they were having a good time. Juskow was laughing in the back, and Lois could see it. She kept looking in the rearview mirror.
I'm like, Ashley, you're so funny. You can stay at my house anytime. It was driving her nuts.
And then it was this like, who's Ashley likes more thing, and like Ashley was really getting along with Juskow, which made the whole situation worse, because it's like,
I get really angry. It's happened my whole life, actually, and I never thought about it until Marina mentioned it, that people get jealous of me all the time, and you sit there and you're like, why? But there's this, I guess, I don't know. I guess I make friends easy, and sometimes that bothers people.
You have a goofy face.
And I
saw it years ago when before we were like friends, and I was like, who is that guy with Rachel? Like, what is he? Because you hang around like this, like, hey, having a good time. People, that's why Colin is like, why is he still around? Why do people should not be talking about Dave Juskow? Why are people still talking about Dave Juskow?
It's true. I just annoy the shit out of people.
The thing is, you're such a good archetype of like a classic New Yorker to me, because they're usually like kind of funny, a little off kilter, maybe a little prickly, but they like are really ultimately good people. They will help you if you need help. That's the kind of sense I get from you. So I don't know.
Thank you. I think Marina knows that too, and that's the thing, but some people just don't care. They just.
I know.
My dad used to be very angry with me because I had friends and. Would have a good time, and just like I wasn't serious about stand-up comedy, but why was I friends with so many funny stand-ups? Like, cause he's like, he's not even good. Why is he friendly with David Tell? David Tell is a genius. Like my dad said that.
There's always, in any scene that we're at, there's Juskow on one side of the room having a good time, and on the other side there's a person leering at him, leering.
It's true.
But what I wanted to ask you is, why or no, how did you fix your eye? Because like I gotta go on
Oh,
stage. I went
that's
on
just
stage
time.
last
There's
night.
nothing you can do. It's unfortunate all the time. It's happened so many times to me.
How
like probably
long?
3 or 4 times. It takes at least 3 or 4
2
days
Yeah.
to not fully clear, but so
Yeah.
you look like a
It-
person and don't
It's
feel like an
moving
asshole.
around too.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Right.
When it moves
Okay.
around, that's actually a good means.
That's what
it's
Lois told me.
finishing.
Yeah.
Lois was
yeah.
like, she goes, I need somewhere to go. It's gotta go
Oh,
somewhere.
it's so embarrassing. I
It's gotta
remember I was doing
go.
we were doing Insomniac, and we were at a dance club, and we were scamming some people, and I had to keep talking about my eye because it was just so disgusting, and probably nobody mentioned it. Maybe they do notice. It's hard to say. There's nothing worse than a bloodshot eye or whatever,
Yeah.
a burst, because you feel that everybody's looking at it, and they probably are.
No.
I went on stage last night and I was like, "Can you see it?" And someone
Well,
in the back of the room was like, "Yeah."
Well, thank God. I mean, you're a comedian. You can bring it up and make fun. I mean, that's a great
Right.
deal. It's the worst when you have to go around just regular life and
Yeah.
tell people.
Yeah.
And then
Either that or tinted, sunglasses or something.
well, on stage I can't, because my
Yeah.
eyes, my facial expressions is what also sells my, me.
Right. Yeah.
But I will say, like, also my contacts have been foggy from
Okay.
it. So
Yeah.
like I know it's also the drops that I'm using because it's like I can't see the audience.
Yeah. Oh God.
It's fogged up. I can only see like the front row, which is actually sometimes, to be honest with you, last night I really don't need to see anyone. It actually helps. Like I was having a really good time because I couldn't see. Sometimes you'll look in the audience, you'll see one person not having a good time, and it can shift your mood in your
Absolutely.
set.
Are you talking about when you're performing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that classic. I mean, that I know it, but that classic Greg Fitzsimmons story that he tells from the Porn Awards, which of course is the worst gig in the history of gigs because none of those porn stars get it or laughing, and they're all fucked up. But he has that story about Dave Navarro sitting in the front row, and that guy is not laughing, and he's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna make that guy laugh." He's laser focused on Dave Navarro the whole time, and he's not laughing. And the best is this: Greg's telling the story in the Howard Stern show. And then, a month later, they have Dave Navarro on. And he's like, "Why weren't you laughing at Greg?" He goes, "I'm not giving that guy the fucking satisfaction. I said I'm not laughing." So you found out he was actually doing it on purpose, which is even worse.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah,
When you
so
find
he
out the audience member who's actually doing it on purpose is even worse.
There has been like jokes where comedians have told the audience, "Don't, whatever you do, don't laugh." And you could see the comedian just confused on stage and trying to figure it out, and it's brutal. I forgot who they did it to. I think it was something like Michael Che and what's his Colin Jost. They play these evil jokes on each other.
Oh,
And it is interesting when that happens. You can also interesting when you're on stage. You don't know that someone has already done your joke.
Oh, that's
and then you're just like, I don't
you know
understand why this didn't.
that almost happened to me on Friday. The
Oh yeah,
MC
yeah, you said
did
that.
my opening joke.
Yeah.
And I can't believe this is happening. I thank God I was watching him because he did the complete joke, including the punchline that I had. But I couldn't get mad at him. I never met him before, and anybody could do a legalized weed joke. But oh my God, it was I had to do some quick thinking, which is not easy for me.
Yeah, I have that going on right now when there's a person who's like sort of doing like, that joke I do about the bus, the guy taking the bus to my house.
On a date. Yeah.
On a date. And then so this person goes on stage and says, "Oh, well, I was waiting for the bus and this girl saw me and says, 'Don't you work at the cellar? Why are you taking the bus? You have money.'" And he goes, "Oh, you're right. I do have money. I should take the train." So now it's not my joke.
Right.
But he's putting himself in the premise of my joke. And so now if I talk about it on stage, the audience is smart enough to go, is she talking about him? Or
Yeah.
So he stepped on the premise.
Right.
Then the next, and I told him, I said, "You're stepping on my joke."
Who is it?
I can't say. I don't want to say.
Sometimes, Sujay, I just say it just like that because maybe they'll burn it out by accident.
No, because I really think this person is just when someone does that, I figure they are at the lowest point of some desperation. And to be honest with you, I've done that joke. It's been on TV. It's fine. I'm moving on anyway. And sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't. I mean, the thing is the joke is starting to grow past what I've actually aired on TV. And
Right.
that's the thing that a lot of comics, I get it. A lot of comics just want to focus on the new material, and I
Right.
get that. But what happens to old jokes is they have never flourished to the potential that they could be. And I have found new stuff with that joke that
Right.
makes the whole set turn around. Like what I say, like, oh, so I don't take the bus, I take the train. And I say, I got that train, right? And that's totally new and it's very funny. But now I can't use it
Right.
because this person was just before me saying, oh, I didn't take the, oh, she's right, I don't take the bus, I'm gonna take the train. Now he's just stepped on my whole bit. And I just go, you must be desperate. Poor thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible.
It's terrible, but you know what? I've written a whole minute of new material because of my anger with that. And it's, you know, last time I was talking about my eye, and I was like, I told the audience this, people say usually this happens when you get angry. Well, that's all the time with me.
Right.
So, you know.
But the important thing to, I guess, notice also is like you're such a strong writer because you're able to kind of extract these thematic elements. Like I've been watching so much comedy, especially like throughout the pandemic and so forth, and it's a lot of it is very surface. It's very like observational, or you're just kind of, there's maybe a punchline that's rooted in kind of just the quotidian. But to take it that extra layer, I know we've talked about like your joke about pronouns, right? Where it's just also about like slavery, right? Like being able to name oneself was denied to oneself, right? Let alone to like to be able to claim one's pronouns. And I think that kind of stuff just goes, you know, over your head if you aren't a good writer. So
if you aren't a good writer, and that's how I know the person is not a good writer, because they're pulling out the outline of the joke, really the bullet points, because they don't understand the depth of it.
That's right. Exactly.
And here's the thing is like, and it hurts even more when people take that type of material, because my material comes from real life experiences.
That's right. Yeah.
So I don't just throw stuff up there, you know. It's like, you are taking a part of my life when you do that. And it's just really frustrating. And sometimes they'll gaslight you, you know, they'll say, oh, I didn't know how, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, oh,
that's no. And smart comedy is really hard to find. Like, you know, I know a few weeks ago talking about Janine Garofalo, Juskow, and I was watching her Seattle set the other day, and it's like, it's so smart, like the way she constructs the narratives, and that's, you don't get that kind of, you know, erudition that often.
Yeah. I actually, Janine Garofalo was one of the people that inspired me to do stand-up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I used to watch her, and I just never seen anyone do it the way she did it.
Right.
Of course, a lot of comedians, believe it or not, they don't really like there's some that really can't stand her, but and they try to bully me out of liking her. But
well, I liked her too at first for a long time, and then when she stopped drinking, she didn't get very good all of a sudden. Something happened. Like I know that sounds ridiculous, but she got sober and then became unfunny.
You should watch her Seattle set. It's actually really funny.
Well, maybe she's listening. I haven't seen her in about
she's
been sober for like 15, 20 years. So,
you know, I ran into her in the Village, and like, she doesn't know me, right? And she was just like, she was with her dogs and said hello, and like, you know.
Well, I'm surprised Marina likes her, because weren't we all sitting outside that day during COVID when she was walking around without a mask?
It was outside though.
Oh, now look at this.
Look, it was a lot of people
we were
that
all
I like
questioning, like, why isn't she wearing a mask? What's going on?
But she said don't come near her.
Okay,
whatever.
By the way, people are getting COVID right now. I did a show. I'm not gonna say also this comic, but true story. I went out to Brooklyn to do a show. I haven't gone out to Brooklyn to do a show in a very long time. And I told the booker, I said, I have to bring my own microphone. I still wear a mask. I have to be careful because I'm vulnerable. All that annoying stuff. And she said, oh, I got you. I get there. No one knows what I'm talking about with the microphones. I'm angry. You know, I didn't pop that day though. And then I go on stage, and I'm like, my anxiety's up, you know, because I've like, what do I do? Do I sacrifice, you know, how I feel and my beliefs about this? And then I was able to pull my microphone out and switch it on my own before my set. And it worked.
I was going to say, why wouldn't you be able to do that?
I just did it and it worked, but no one cared is what I'm saying. I didn't know if it was going to be I didn't know. Anyway, About July 4th, I see that comic's girlfriend on the street and she goes, "Oh, I got to go get some medicine for him because he just got COVID."
Oh wow.
Who was it?
I can't say.
Damn it, CJ, try it again.
So
Don't
it
think
was
you're
like
gonna catch
it was insane because it was like, the moment you drop that habit, it
Yeah.
really is about like habits,
The
right?
announcer for I'm watching the Mets game. The announcer for the Mets game just got COVID, and they're all the other announcers are making fun of him.
Oh, are
They're
they?
like,
What are they
I didn't
saying?
think COVID was a thing anymore. Leave it to
Nothing.
Howie to get COVID.
Jen, what's her
Sanchez?
name? No, Jen. She was on the Daily Show. Oh my God, I'm forgetting her name right now. She got COVID. My sister has COVID right now. Not Ashley,
Does?
my older sister. She was in Chicago with me, and
Oh.
everyone came back. Everyone's fine, and she has it. I'm telling you, it's like just because they're not talking about it doesn't mean you can't get it.
Of
So,
course,
but
yeah.
the saddest part is there's an election. We're dealing with an election coming on, so there's
Yeah.
a reason why they're not talking
Right.
about it. And
Is
it's
that right?
not. It's
It
yeah.
has to do with the election?
Yes.
Yeah, I know, heck, I'm watching.
It's not a popular conversation. No one wants to hear about it.
Yeah.
Nobody. And then also, you know what else they don't want to hear? They don't want to hear about masks. You tell people like, "Hey, the mask will protect you from the fires that are. It's orange outside," and people are like, "Fuck that mask." It's like nobody wants to wear a mask.
It's so politicized. Yeah.
It's so politicized. So because of that, our health is being in jeopardy because people don't want to hear stuff. They just want to go, "Oh no, everything's great. I'm gonna go back out in the water where the shark is."
Big bitch. Heck,
That's the world. Mets are up. Oh, okay. Is that
I'm
for you, Juskow? Because I don't.
Yeah. I'm watching it. Now,
Are you watching it?
It's a continuation from last night's game because it got totally flooded out.
Oh, I saw that. I saw those little boys like rolling up the mat or something.
Yeah.
What are those guys doing?
Also, the thing is, I've when I was at Uncle Vinny's, one of my friends came. I hadn't seen him in a long time. His son pitches for the Red Sox, and he was pitching today. And then I got really confused because I'm always rooting for him, but he struck out a couple of Mets. I was very upset, but I was glad he was pitching. It's very exciting.
Wow,
being
500
Jewish,
people
we don't have a lot
died
of
from
we don't have a lot of
COVID
people
last
to,
week.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that's horrible. Hey, look, I was like, hey, anyway, what did I? My brain doesn't remember stuff anymore. Question, Mama, do you remember your very first time you did stand up on stage, and how did it go? How did you feel afterwards? My very first time on stage was at Gotham Comedy Club, which I'm performing at in a little bit today. In
when
like
was
2 hours.
Gotham's been around that long?
It was the old Gotham.
But Chris Mazzilli owned it, like even back then.
Yeah, it
That's
was on
the
23rd
first time
Street.
you went on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was doing like a show, a class, because I'm
What
a
is that? The
theater
mid
kid.
'90s?
Yeah, it was like 97. 97.
97. Wow.
Yeah,
My
and I
first
went
time
up.
I went on in '83.
Oh. Yeah, so 97.
And I still stink.
Oh no.
That.
97. I went up. I was nervous. There was a comedian there trying to make me feel better. I was shaking, but I was also excited because I was like, this is what I love. This is what I've always wanted to do. Then I got on stage. It was the most exciting experience ever. I couldn't believe I did it. I'd killed. Well, as I could. And it was just fun. I had people in the audience who were there rooting for me. That's
really?
what you do. Because you bring people, when you're
No,
first
I did
starting
it the
out.
opposite way. I wanted to go to a place where I knew no one. I thought that was the best way to go first. So I went to Brooklyn. I told you about mine. It's the best. Remember, I think I told you the guy who owned the club in Brooklyn was on the Letterman show. And he goes, "Yeah, we got an open mic on Wednesdays. You come up, we'll sign you, we'll put you on, And I was like, oh God, there's gonna be a line out the door. There was no one there. The guy announced it on Letterman, his open mic, and I was the only one that came in. I was wearing a tie.
Oh wow.
And I go to the bartender, I'm like, I'm here for the open mic. He goes, yeah, go see the colored guy in the back. And
the colored guy?
The colored guy in the back, I'll never forget
what?
it. The bartender said that, and he was totally, hey, yeah, go see the colored guy in the back. And the guy's name was Jesse Kitten. I told you this, I thought, because he was the first one to bring me into Harlem. And we became friendly after that because he liked me. So
Did
he
you
brought
tell
me
him
to
that he was
Dangerfields.
called the color guy? Did you tell him?
I think we talked about that. Yeah.
And what'd he say? He was like,
He was in Brooklyn, that is a completely Italian neighborhood. He understood where he was, so it wasn't that big a deal. And again, it just wasn't that big a deal. Like it was. It still. I remembered it because it was a big deal, but in that neighborhood, it wasn't a big deal, and he got it, and that's why they liked him there. He understood where he was, and that they're surprised there's a black MC. There was always, it was Italians and Jews, and then one black guy that did a Michael Jackson imitation that everybody seemed to like.
It's amazing how segregated New York actually is. People think New York is integrated. It is not.
No.
It is not.
No,
And
not
you
at
can
all.
look at the schools and see that. When I first moved here, I thought I was moving to a place that, like, Chicago is definitely more segregated. But I thought I was moving to a place that was like diverse. You see all types of people, and now it's like
Did I ever tell you that story when I went to Atlanta? My first time I went to Atlanta, that's when I realized that we are not diverse at all. Okay, maybe this is 15 years ago, but still it's just 15 years ago. I'd never been. I went with my friend, and we were with these two white girls who live in Atlanta. I only bring that up because, I don't know how I don't know. So we went to a restaurant.
Why? Because Atlanta's mostly black.
I don't know, I guess. Anyway, the point is, here's the interesting part, which I couldn't believe, that we went to a restaurant and there were all these black people in it. And I was like, what's going on? Is there a function? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, what's all these black people? It's like a church function or something? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, look at all the black people.
Right.
Like, every time I thought we were some sort of diverse, when I realized after that there was nothing happening, and that was a normal day for them, and those two white girls were like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's when I realized we're not diverse at all, because every restaurant we go to, there might be a black couple. One.
So do you feel like because of that, like, you were neglected, like, as far as an education, a cultural experience?
Well, that's why I was surprised that there was so much racism in Atlanta, because it really seemed like they were all okay with it. It was fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. Like, everybody seemed to get along. And this happened to me in DC too, when I was doing that article for Maxim. I was at this hotel and I'm like, what's going on? Is there a black function? Everybody told me, like, what are you talking about?
That's so
all those
that's
places,
also
DC and down, just integrate. Like, it seems like it was working to me. That's what I noticed. Like, we got it wrong somehow. Then I remember going to Boston, and there wasn't one Latino or black person in this club. And I'm like, something's wrong with this club, and I can't put my finger on it until I realized, boy, it was even worse the further north you go.
Yeah.
And absolutely. I never got it understood until I went to Atlanta that day. And I'm like, geez, they do all seem to get along. Like, there's no problem. Like, those girls, I don't think they're racist or anything, but they're just like, they didn't understand what the hell my friend and I were talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is great, right? I mean, that's the way it should be. They grew up in Atlanta. They got the accents and everything, and they just don't even care. But yeah, I guess that's everywhere below the Mason-Dixon line, DJ. It's I guess something I am not cultured. I do not understand. I
always say that it's your job to seek it out. It really is. I mean, Juskow, I would say, I'm going to give you a little bit of credit here, that you have actually done some work on yourself. As far as like educating yourself,
maybe it's
you
work
do try
to discover, all these things. And it is, like I said, that day in 1983, remembering vividly when the guy said colored guy, and sometimes I would use that word because it was funny to me, and I would use it pretending to be this kind of guy. That's a colored fella, that term is, even in 1983 when I heard it, I knew there's something wrong with these people.
But I'm always curious, as someone who is Jewish, you are keenly aware of what being alienated feels like. So I would always think that you would be the first to know that something's off in a situation when there's exclusion. Like when you say Sujay, like yourself.
Absolutely. It's just while you were talking, I was thinking about how the instances and places where I actually had encounters with racism directly have been the most like liberal, left-leaning spaces. There was I was just watching a Survival of the Thickest, Michelle Buteau's new show,
Yes. Oh,
and there's a
I'm not
scene.
done with it yet.
Oh yeah, there's a scene. It doesn't ruin anything, but they're painting a mural in Brooklyn,
Mhm.
and they're the black characters, and this white woman comes up and she says, "I voted for Obama," but she's like trying to be a Karen, in that moment, and say, "Do you have a permit to paint this art?" And I remember vividly, I was going to school at Harvard, and I was living very close to Henry Louis Gates's house. He had this whole incident where the
Yes.
police showed up. So I was dressed up, waiting for a car to take me. I was teaching at the time at another college in Boston while I was in grad school at Harvard, and I remember waiting outside my building, and this woman came up, white woman, and she said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "No, I'm fine," And she said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I live here." And it was very shocking that I would, no matter how you're self-presenting in those spaces, like you're always going to be an outsider. So even though I was dressed up, even though I have a doctorate in front of my name, even though I was going to go teach at a university, the only thing that this woman saw me as was a threat.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what lack of diversity does. It
absolutely.
makes you appear as a threat. Now, I want to give you guys an update about my date.
Yeah, yes.
Are you ready?
We're ready, yeah.
We know you were wearing green.
So, I told him pass.
Oh, when? The next day?
No, this week I was gonna just ghost him, but I was told that's not being a nice human being.
Well, that's all right.
So
I think girls can do
Good,
that. Guys
yeah.
shouldn't do it.
So I decided not to ghost, and I sent a simple text, and I said, I am just I had a great time,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna pass on the second date.
Mhm.
I wish you most luck and stay WGA strong.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a lovely message. That's so.
Oh, it's the worst message. I had one of those once.
No,
It's
I
like,
think
you
it's
appreciate the honesty, but it just sucks.
no, I think it's a great message. How do you
I
feel?
kept it. I have that somewhere where I got it from a girl. It's like, I just didn't think there was a connection between us, and I don't think we should waste any more time. And I'm like, well, thank you for your honesty, and I feel like a piece of shit now. I hope you're happy.
Well,
with
that you moved on though. But what were you saying,
Yeah.
Sujay? How do I feel?
Yeah, how do you feel?
Great.
Good.
You know what? I will say this. When you do that, you take your power back.
Yep, that's right.
Because Sujay, you and I were DMing each other. You were like, you know what? If he's not asking you questions and you got those feelings, because
Yeah.
I really did get a sense that he was not there listening to me. I was listening to him, but he wasn't listening to me, and he didn't seem interested in follow-up questions when I would offer stuff about me. And I just was like, I found myself trying to pretend like that wasn't happening. But when I was talking to you, Sujay, and someone else, Mateo also said it. Mateo was like, Marina, what questions did he ask you though? And I was like, oh shit, you're right. I can't think of anything. And then I was like, I'm not wasting my time. And that is is the best feeling in the world. When
that's
you
right.
see the red flags and
That's
you
right.
go touchdown or whatever it is. You
That's
don't
right.
I don't know why I said touchdown. But you get out of there.
Absolutely.
Get out of there.
Absolutely. And the thing about what was so great about your response is like through your honesty, you make sure that you're also not making a liar out of him, right?
Yes.
Like putting him in a place where he has to lie to himself and say, this was a good experience, everything is fine. You're giving them that honesty.
Yeah. And I think I may have a new date on the horizon.
Oh.
And this one I could tell is just a better feeling all around. It's just
Is it that bird? Is it that bird from
the bird? I know that bird.
What's the guy's name?
I can't say.
Damn it.
I can't say
CJ,
yet.
one time it's going to work. She's gonna slip.
Tucci producer says another pass I've heard is after our date, me and my ex got back together. It happened like 3 times. Tucci, why? Who are you? Where are you going and mingling that you're getting? And by the way, thank you, Tucci. I think this is your first time being on here, so welcome to the Friends Like Us live show here. But where are you meeting these people? It's interesting. I've had 2 women on the show who are dating experts. And since I've had them on the show, I've gotten better
Yeah.
at it myself. They
They have good
actually
advice. Yeah.
they
Really
do have good advice. And I've always thought it was corny to do that stuff.
right. No,
Like, really
yeah.
corny.
Especially the woman that was giving instructions on how to write your profile. I thought that was
Yes.
so smart, the way she was describing it. Yeah.
Very smart. And also, one of the things when I would listen back at it, even in the interview, I realized I wasn't listening to her when she said this, is not just about online dating. It's about making yourself open in
Yes.
spaces where
Yes.
you may not think you're going to meet you don't think you're meeting someone, and you actually, so like I open myself up on
That's
the picket line.
That's
I call
right.
it the pickup line now. Because you can go to the picket and meet somebody.
Yeah. Good
They're
for you.
writers, they make money, they got insurance, they will have it again once the strike is over.
Right.
So it's a great place to meet someone.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, the internet? Okay, Tucci. So that's what it is. It's all
Yeah.
internet, and maybe it's time for you to open yourself up.
Yeah.
Like I know people who have met actually on the subway.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Absolutely. People meet all sorts of places.
I mean, I'm not gonna meet nobody on the subway. I have seen some guys, so I'm like, God damn. I saw a man running this morning, and I was like, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you so much. I still have the image in my mind because it's hot. So he didn't have no shirt on. I was like, wonderful. Thank you so much. Anyway, what were we talking about? We have some reviews to read.
Yes, I got them.
It's called The Friends Like. We haven't done this in a while. So
No.
Here we go.
All right. Well, our friend Jenny Cone Sanchez wrote, I adore Marina Franklin. This isn't really a fair review. We know she loves you. I adore Marina Franklin as a stand-up comedian. I rewatch Marina Franklin's amazing stand-up comedy special, Single Black Female, often. Comedians like her are superheroes to me because they literally make life better. Her humor is not only hilarious, topical, blunter than anyone, and thought-provoking. Friends Like Us podcast reminds me of a mixture between all that is incredible about one of my favorite comedians of all time, Marina, as well as reminds me of journalism and or lectures because of the beautiful interviews of diverse guests, extremely informative and interesting, powerful. Of all the many podcasts out there, I believe this is the podcast is most worth listening to because the content is very rich with information and educational while simultaneously entertaining. Marina Franklin never ceases to amaze me, and this podcast is a must listen to. Marina and Friends is also an incredible live podcast, and the awesome people I have met through that sweet community, as well as it got me introduced to the Friends Like Us podcast.
Aw, and she's not here today to hear her wonderful. Thank you, Jenny.
Classic, always the way. And of course, Arlene D said, no, wait, I don't know if I want to read that one.
No, what about the men thing?
Yeah.
I think that's fine because I think it was me who said it.
Okay. Someone on the show said, when you go through menopause, you are becoming a man. Menopause. At the risk of being argumentative, I have to say you are not becoming a man. You are evolving into the next stage of woman that you were meant to be. As the hormones decrease, you are adjusting to that next stage of womanhood. Our society worships youth, especially in women. Why else are we pressured to maintain a pre-adolescent, thin, hairless body? Well, that's the best, though. Anyway, fight back and
the hair goes
revel
away,
in the abundant, beautiful body and mind of an evolved woman. But a nice, thin, hairless body woman is very sweet.
You know what, Juskow? That's why you didn't want, because you were like, wait a minute, hold up now. Hold up. I want to argue this argumentative person.
And you want me to read this one by Philly NYC?
Yes.
From the moment you hit play on Friends Like Us, you are transported into a world of laughter, insight, and connection. Marina Franklin, the brilliant comedian and host, brings together a diverse and talented group of people each week to discuss everything from current events to pop culture to personal stories. What sets Friends Like Us apart from other podcasts is the depth of conversation and the sense of community it fosters. Marina has a gift for bringing out the best in her guests, and the result is a series of hilarious and thought-provoking conversations. Whether they are sharing their experiences of riffing on the latest news, The guests of Friends Like Us are always engaging and entertaining. Marina and her guests come from all walks of life, and their perspectives are shaped by their unique backgrounds and experiences. This diversity of thought makes for some genuinely eye-opening discussions, and it's a testament to Marina's skill as a host that she's able to navigate these conversations with such critical awareness and profound grace.
Ooh.
Pro tip, listen to her fantastic YouTube live events and engage with the lovely co-hosts she has each week.
Is that on there? Did you add that?
I did not.
That was my review.
That's your review?
Yeah, that was my review. Yeah.
Sujay, and look, and now you're here. See?
Wait,
It all worked out
Why
full
didn't you
circle.
say that when I said this is from Indo Phil?
But I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's not fair.
Well, I wrote
That's
it
like a
long
review from your mother.
I know. I wrote it a while ago.
I love it though. It's a great review. Thank you, Sujay.
Of course, yeah.
That was amazing. And you know what's fun is like I found out recently Noye went to the Essence Fest
Mhm.
and she's going to be on this week's episode. We're returning back to the recordings, and she said there were a lot of women there who listen from the Essence Fest who listen to Friends Like Us, because I never know. And I have someone who actually reached out to me, a young lady named Erica, who's going to help me to understand the people who the analytics of people who listen to the show and why they listen to the show. I'm going to put this out there to you. Is there anything that you really like that you would like more on the show? Like I had someone tell me that they don't like really the actors and actresses. They don't really offer much.
Yeah.
Would you say that's true?
Would I? I think that I like the mixture of the guests. So maybe like having it, if you have an actor, like have a scholar at the same time, or someone who's an arts professional, or someone who's working in a nonprofit. I think the ones that have been really engaging are where you're getting those multiple viewpoints on a subject. Like I was thinking, the one that your friend she's Indian, she's a comedian, Kaniz.
Kaniz Circa.
Yeah, she was on one with another guest who I was like completely different background, and it was interesting getting the comedy side, getting I think it was a relationships episode, right? Wasn't it?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because she was talking about moving to New York.
Yep.
Yes,
Exactly.
and starting over.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for reading those, Juskow. You did. Yeah. Something tells me that you're vying for Evelyn's job.
No, well, for that, you should always let me read those. She's the worst. I mean, yeah, we love Evelyn, but I mean, just her reading skills are well. And they say that you. I mean, she doesn't put any. I mean, she wants to be a comic, but she doesn't put any action into her words, you know. But happy birthday to her.
Oh, happy birthday!
Is it her birthday?
I think it's tomorrow.
Oh, okay. We got to make sure we all wish her a happy birthday.
I assume that's why she wasn't here.
Yeah.
I saw Hector.
Oh, oh boy, I should have that on my calendar. I am the worst with birthdays. Well, it's also because my birthday's on Christmas, so I'm allowed.
True. That's true. She does Marina absolutely gets a pass.
Oh.
TB says the actors are great, especially combined with people with other walks of life. It's always a nice blend. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So when I do the one-on-ones, I think it wasn't really working.
Yeah.
Unless it was with my uncle, who was like a doctor. That was fun.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think that diversity. By the way, are you going to go see Barbie or Oppenheimer, Marina?
I don't know. I'm torn because I feel like actors are not supposed to go see movies right now. And I did hear someone talking about that in line while I was at the farmer's market today.
Yeah, no, they said, actually, I was just reading about this, that it's okay. They're not.
It's okay.
They're not putting a moratorium on actors or anyone seeing the films at the moment. Yeah.
That'd be fucking rude to do to the people that already made these, you know?
Yeah, it was like just as a show of solidarity to the crew and all, like the hard work.
Nobody should be doing that to Margot Robbie.
Look, Heck Tech says, Marino, don't go.
No.
Well, don't go because you might catch COVID. But other than that,
that's the COVID. Yeah, absolutely.
Margot Robbie's the greatest.
But I
says,
did hear that the unions have said it's okay to go.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And
Mhm.
Stace says she loves scholars like Dr. Christina Greer, and the conversations among all the guests is a terrific format. Thank you, Stace. Yeah, I love experts. We have a young man that's going to come on from Chicago who I believe went to Harvard, who reached out to us, who's going to come on and talk. So I'm really interested. Okay, so maybe I'll go see I'm trying to think which one first. The Oppenheimer. I think
Mhm.
that's the one I would prefer
Right.
first, only because it was done at the University of Chicago, right?
Berkeley.
I thought it was University of
I
Chicago.
think he taught at Chicago and he also taught at Princeton, but I believe it was UC Berkeley where.
Sonny, I need to go see that movie. Because it's an important movie right now, because you never know like what you're creating, what it's going to do. Like AI, for example, right now, Biden just passed did he pass a law making sure that they're transparent, these companies, and that there's
I don't know. I heard something about him talking about AI, but
yeah. So anyway, we do have to go, and I have to get down to Gotham. I'm at Gotham Comedy Club tonight. I haven't been there in a long time for 3 shows. It's my first time back there. I love Gotham Comedy Club, so this is going to be interesting. Bringing my microphone. They said I can do it.
You should have let me open for you.
I'm not headlining.
Oh, I thought you. Then what are you doing?
They don't do headline shows there anymore.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Oh, that's what I thought was happening.
It's all stars. So
That's a good idea. They always tell me to send in my avails, and I always forget.
Oh, TB waits to go to the theaters till it's empty. So just before they leave the theater, still being careful of COVID. Yeah.
Gotham Comedy Club.
I hear
3
you.
nights? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I'm there tonight for 3 shows.
Oh, for 3 shows in one night. Oh,
in
my God.
one night, yes.
Wow.
It's a long night.
Yeah.
It's a long night, but it's going to be fine. Hey, guys, I want to thank you so much for being here with us every Saturday. We're going to be back next Saturday. I hope you're enjoying your summer. I hope you're staying safe. Sujay, do you want to tell the viewers like anything to check out or where they can find you? Or
Sure. You can find me on Instagram, Sujay NYC, but yeah.
And Juskow?
Well, I'll be at the Comedy Cellar on Monday, July 31st, assuming all goes according to plan. And that's pretty much it. And my podcast, Juskow in the City.
Where can they find you?
Dave Juskow on Instagram, I guess.
You don't know?
What does everybody need to find me for? I do the Comedy Cellar thing on Tuesdays at 6.
Where do they find that though? Is there a link?
On YouTube. Nobody watches. It doesn't matter.
Is it David Juskow or is it Dave Juskow?
Usually everything's under Dave Juskow.
Okay, see, it's important. All right, guys. So thank you so much. You can find me at marinayfranklin.com. And also make sure you share the podcast. This is the live stream to promote what is actually the podcast. And just a little update. The people who are imitating friends like us, I already got one taken off of iTunes. The next one is coming. These little teenagers, they got friends like us. They about to get it. Okay. So there's only one Friends Like Us.
That's right.
Okay. And that's with Marina Franklin. So tell your friends, make sure you listen, keep up to date with us, and make sure you enjoy your summer, wash your hands, wear a mask still if you want to, and don't forget Black Lives Matter. Thank you so much.
Good night, all.
Bye.